people have all seen the pictures of people crying at a wall.
That's one of the requirements to become, one of the elect, I suppose. You got to touch the wall.
So, and I don't think people have a lot of context of what that wall actually is. So when you talk about Temple Mount, it holds the dome and it holds the mosque. Around it is a wall. The western wall is the only place on that Temple Mount that the Jews can pray.
Yep.
You can go inside the property, but you can't pray in the property. So they sit at the western wall, the Wailing Wall. They pray, looking inwards into the land that they wish to reclaim.
Yes.
It's not just a random wall.
Very symbolic.
It's extremely symbolic. And there's something about that wall
Well,
that people show up and they wail and cry and they pray at that wall. And all of a sudden, they're like, yes, let's rebuild this thing. What is it about that wall?
Well, according to some political pundits and maybe some jokesters, apparently the Wailing Wall is a metaphor for new beginnings, new birth. So that's why you not only wail against the wall, but you hump it. You've seen that too? You haven't seen that?
No.
A very simple Google search will find out the narratives and story and historicity behind why people will go to the Wailing Wall and hump it. It is symbolic of gestating the new coming of the next savior or the next moment in time. And so there's, to the ultra-Orthodox, I'm getting this wrong, guys. You guys correct me. But to the ultra-Orthodox, I believe, by copulating with the wall, having metaphorical sex with the wall by humping it, you are actually ensuring that the next thing will happen or come to pass or something like this.
Not going to lie, did not see that coming.
I just need to make sure that everything that we talk about ends up ducktailing into some sort of sexual innuendo.
It's called shuckling.
Okay, tell us more, Will. Tell us more about shuckling.
All right, well,
shuckling.
tell us about the shuckle.
It comes from the Yiddish word to shake. It's the ritual swaying of worshippers doing Jewish prayer, usually forward and back, but also from side to side.
And what's the purpose of shuckling? Is it to get your jollies on and have an ejaculatory moment?
Simon Brainen thinks the practice was historically done to afford the body exercise during study and prayer, which took up a large portion of the time of a great number of Jews.
Well, Nathaniel, the Jew killer. Why did I say that? Cross that one out. You know that Jew guy, the guy who's like was an Orthodox Jew but now is a Christian. Who's all over X. He talks a lot about the Jews humping the wall and trying to copulate with the wall. So that's where I'm getting my information from. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Sorry, I had to go into the slobbering on the knob. Okay, we cut that out.
No.
Anyway,
Everything stays.
everything stays.
Nothing, for the record, we never cut anything out. For people who are like, oh yeah, they must cut and edit stuff. No, nothing ever gets cut.
We allow the autism moments to
What you see is literally what you get. And it is just as awkward in this room as you think it is.
Yep, I make it awkward, guys. That's my job. Bring it up. The humping of the wall. Okay, maybe that was sacrilegious to some of you guys. I apologize. But these are things that you see online. Okay, anyway. So it has a lot of metaphorical, a lot of symbolism, right? It's an important place of history, an important place of religion for all of these different people groups, for sure.
Correct. Christians believe that once the temple is built, that it brings the rise of the Antichrist, and 3.5 years into tribulation, that the Antichrist will go to the temple, either destroy it or make himself known, and that he will show himself as being the Antichrist. That's what some Christian eschatologists believe. Not all.
Don't you see this as a conflict of interest, though?
Meaning?
I mean, let me interpret what I've heard you say in the most basic terms. The Christians want the Temple Mount to be rebuilt so that their Savior can come. The Jews want the Temple Mount to be rebuilt so their Savior can come. The Muslims protect the Temple Mount because it has historical and religious significance to their prophet, and who also recognized Jesus.
Hmm.
And so one could look at this and say, the Christian Savior is supposed to save the world.
Hmm.
The Jewish Savior is supposed to conquer the world.
Hmm.
So aren't these two ideas in opposition to each other? I mean,
Well, okay. And then you have amongst Christians, because theology is so difficult.
oh yeah.
Amongst Christians, you have people that believe that the rapture happens before tribulation.
Yeah, yeah. We all get caught up in the air and we all disappear like that.
All the Christians go to the sky and go to
yeah.
heaven.
What was that?
and
What was that
then
one movie?
return.
Left Behind series. You ever watch that?
No.
Oh, Left Behind.
And then there are Christians that believe that the rapture happens after tribulation.
Yeah, after all the suffering.
And then there's a third group of Christians that believe that rapture happens after tribulation, after 1,000-year millennial period, and then it happens.
Yes, and there's even more permutations where some believe that we're currently going through the time of tribulation.
Correct. So you have pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib. You have premillennials, post-millennials, mid-millennials.
Right.
There are so many variances.
Yes.
I believe that Christian Zionists believe in a pre-tribulation.
Yep.
Meaning that the building of this will mean that they fulfill prophecy and that they get to go home to heaven.
Yes. 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 They actually incite and begin the rapture.
Yes.
Yes.
And they believe that it is their duty, especially the people, maybe like a Pete Hegseth, that is more of the crusader type, that it is their job to help usher on and fulfill prophecy.
So this is such a fascinating topic, Matt. It really is, because I don't think there's, I think most people, let's just say stick to America because we don't know what it, I would think that most people in America do not generally prescribe to religious, making policies, economic policies, international policies, how we deal with geopolitics. Like, no one signs up for, hey, I'm going to vote for you. Make sure that you make decisions based on religious grounds. Like, nobody actually does this, right? I didn't vote for this person because I want them to make religious decisions.
I just want the economy good.
I know. Yeah, let number go up, please. Just help people out. Like, that's what most people care about, is just what's going on today. But yet there is a deeper seated religious and spiritual narrative that is guiding all of these politicians and leaders. Number one, shouldn't we be concerned? But number two, shouldn't we be concerned?
I think so. I think we should at least be aware of what's going on, because once you understand and see how this is playing out, the rest of what's happening actually starts to make a little more sense. Because a lot of people are like, well, why are we so entwined in this Israel-Palestine thing? Well, now you know.
Now you know.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The whole thing makes sense
Yeah.
once you kind of understand the religious history involved.